Essentially, we heard from a European Commission official who said that this framework trade agreement reached with the United States is no reason to celebrate. But the official said that this is essentially the best of a bad situation. Of course, the European Union for months has reiterated that tariffs are taxes harmful for consumers, harmful for businesses on both sides of the Atlantic. However, considering the fact that US President Donald Trump was threatening this 30% baseline tariff rate, the EU argues that 15% is a decent deal considering the circumstances. There has been plenty of pushback in recent days across the EU about this deal, with some describing it as lopsided in the Washington's favour. We've heard from Viktor Orban, Hungary's Prime Minister, who said that Ursula von der Leyen, the European Commission President, got eaten for breakfast.
What about retaliatory tariffs from Brussels against Washington?
Yeah, as you mentioned, these are tariffs that are worth over $100 billion if you add up two packages that the EU had in store. They've been put on the back burner for at least the next 6 months. The message we're hearing from EU officials is that they don't expect them to be needed now that this framework agreement is reached. However, they say that there is a red line, which is this 15% baseline tariff. If it's respected, they say that this countervailing tariffs on things like US bourbon and a number of other goods will not be required. However, that is not to say that all things are done and dusted. This framework agreement is not a legally binding document as of yet. We haven't even had a joint statement from Washington and Brussels. Negotiations do continue. The EU is pushing for some crucial exemptions for a number of products, the likes of wine and spirits. Still plenty of uncertainty when it comes to whether they will be subject to this 15% base rate or if they'll be given an exemption. A number of other products also up in the air, whether European cars will see their tariffs go from around 25% down to 15%. The steel and aluminium sector is still subject to a 50% duty too. So plenty of uncertainty, plenty of unknowns persist, despite this framework agreement having been reached between President Trump and Commission President Ursula von der Leyen.